What's up guys, this is Astranox. In this Etheria Restart video, I'm gonna go over the two animuses which will be released on the 10th of July. Are they good? Are they worth pulling, right? Do we even have any perfect lattices to skill them up? Do we need to actually invest perfect lattices into them? Do we need to invest a lot of perfect lattices into these two animuses? So we got Fuqiu, and you don't want to mess up her name, right? When you pronounce her name, Fuqiu and Nahor. So let me go over, their skills and what I think about them and if they're worth pulling for. I'm a free-to-play player on 3 accounts, and well, that will be based on my perspective, right? This is my opinion about these animuses. So she looks awesome. Of course, she is of the hollow affinity, and Nahor is of the odd affinity. So here we can see that she only has 119 base speed. Now I think that they still have not fixed their test server, and if you remember, Yelly was being shown during her preview missing 10 speed, which is the speed that you would get. You'd get 5 speed from 4 to 5 star, and another 5 speed from 5 star to 6 star. So I think she's missing 10 speed. Don't quote me on that, because if she only has 119 base speed when she's maxed out, that is low, because you can see that the skills are maxed out at level 5, all of them, right? It would be on skill 1 that she has that 5 speed and 10 speed increase, so 15 speed out of skilling her skill 1 3 times or something like that. Yeah, and so I think she might be missing 10 speed, because that's really underwhelming. 119, to be honest, is not that great. Now you can see that she has a crap ton of health, right? Which is weird. There's some inconsistencies in this preview, right? She's using the Fortissimo shell, which can store healing over healing to trigger it and heal kind of the team with, right? But let me go over these inconsistencies, and yeah, let me talk about this animus, right? They also have her built on Wellspring, Cure, and Evolve Guard. So yeah, over 60,000 HP is a lot, and they're trying to increase the healing effect by 37% from Cure and Evolve Guard, matrix effects. So yeah, she shields with skill number 3, her ultimate. So I'll be going over her skills, the skill ups, and all that good stuff. So let's begin here with the skill number 1. So balance demands both charity and reward. Fuqiu deals 240% damage to a single enemy and increases 2 random allies' turn meter by 10%. Okay, so that's after skill ups, right? Before skill ups, what is the value? Hopefully it's something like at least 7%, right? It's not like a 5%, which would be, that would be really crappy, right? So yeah, 10%, that's pretty solid actually. That's 20% turn meter right there. That is if those allies are not above 90% to reach that 100% to get their turn. But that's pretty cool. You can have her on Bramble, so that means if she does trigger a counter attack from Bramble, then you could potentially have her make your team cut before the enemy because of that, right? So Bramble triggering could be pretty sweet. So Brocade, each time an enemy ends their turn, if Fuqiu does not have Moonlit Veil, which is triggered from using her ultimate skill 3, increases her turn meter by 8%. If she already has Moonlit Veil, reduces her turn meter by 8%. That's weird, but I guess it can make sense because you're trying to have a higher uptime on the Moonlit Veil. So if she's getting slowed down, then she have it longer, which is good for the rest of the team. So there is that. But that's kind of like a gigabyte shell, right? When the 3 enemies go, you get that turn meter push, 35% turn meter push. But this is every time an enemy's turn end. So that's good, and that's going to be even better when they have animuses in the future that they get 2 turns or something like that. So she's going to get more value out of that one. So that's pretty nice. Getting some Bramble triggers, Yeah, I mean, like, it will... This is random. The thing I'm wondering is that increase 2 random allies turn meter. This might actually work on herself. So she could potentially push her own self with Bramble Trigger, and then she's also getting some turn meter push at the end of, you know, each enemy's turn. So yeah, and also if you're fighting more enemies, like let's say you instead of fighting like 2, 3 enemies, you're fighting like 4 enemies, 5 enemies or more, then she gets more value out of Brocade, right? And the skill ups on that thing. So you need to get the you know, 2 random allies turn meter to 10%. Before that, I don't know, it could be like 7%. Hopefully it's not less. And then you need full skill ups to get the turn meter increase and decrease effect to enhance to 8%. So I think that you know, 8% turn meter could be like a 5%, like before getting that that 4th skill up. So the skill 1 will have the 15 speed in there, the passive speed, so that's pretty nice. So at least you're getting, you know, 2 birds 1 stone. I mean, it's not 1 stone, it's multiple perfect lattices. That's the thing, right? And we are struggling. We're struggling with resources, all that stuff, right? It's pretty insane. And they're releasing a lot of animuses. Okay. So they call Serenity, like when she has the Moonlit Veil buff on herself. I guess when it's on herself, it's called Serenity. That's what they're calling it, right? And Moonlit Veil, all allies trigger Moonlit Veil at the end of their turn and after being attacked. Increased their turn meter by 12% and also heal 8 and healing 8% max HP. It's really bad. Those tooltips, those descriptions are awful. They will probably fix it on before the release, but they need to make it more clear. Like, it's showing something, but then we have, you know, the subtitle with, you know, the voiceover saying that it's healing based on the allies maximum HP, right? So there's that. She's stacking a lot of health so she can actually like get a thicker shield out of the ultimate skill 3. Anyways, it says triggered only 1 time per turn, right? So yeah, at the end of the turn and after being attacked. So what happens, like, okay, it's at the end of the turn, but what if you got attacked? That means, you know, you're not at the end of your turn yet. So you got attacked, this triggers, and then it won't be able to trigger again at the end of your turn if you got attacked. So it's one or the other. You can't have both because it says triggered only 1 time per turn. When Fuqiu triggers Moonlit Veil, her turn meter will not be increased. So if you get her very healthy, very tanky, then it's probably going to be the rest of your team that will be at a lower amount of health, which means that that will be triggered on your other allies and not herself anyway. So it's not a big deal. So let's go over. You can see here the healing is only 2270, right, on Messiah. So the healing is definitely happening based on the allies maximum health and not based on her maximum health. But there's some inconsistencies because you're going to be seeing some very big healing happening later on. So yeah, anyways, let's go over it when it happens. It's strange. It's definitely strange, right? And they're using Fortissimo for her when she's doing shielding, but then the healing, if it's based on the allies maximum health, like Fortissimo, does it even actually work, right? Unless when she's the one getting healed, then the Fortissimo can, you know, build up some healing, store it, and then trigger it for the rest of the team. So I think that's where it comes in, right? But you can see like the healing is really underwhelming. Over 60,000 HP on her doesn't matter because the healing is based on the allies maximum HP. So if you're bringing her with a bunch of squishy, that shield's nice on this skill 3 ultimate, but the Moonlit Veil, you know, you can see that the healing is low. So here you can see, right, Mio and Messiah. Mio, she got healed for even less. Now the thing is that healing not showing over healing, right? So if they're close to being at maximum health, then it's only showing, you know, how much they actually got healed and not the over healing portion of it, right? And is Fortissimo actually storing those, all the healing, the excess healing? Because it says Fortissimo, each time the owner animus heals, right? It has to be the carrier and not the rest of the team. So how does the game actually decide who is the actual healer? Is it, because it's basically, she's holding the Serenity buff, which is triggering Moonlit Veil. So it could be that the Fortissimo actually stores all the excess healing and part of the healing, because the game is saying that she's the healer, but the healing is actually happening based on who is like the HP of who's receiving the healing. It's really strange. It's really strange. It's confusing to me because, anyways, her skill number 2, the mirror hangs high, reflecting past and present gains and losses. Fuqiu deals 3 hits of damage equal to 10% of her maximum HP to a single enemy. So here they specify that it's, you know, 10% of her max HP, right? Why didn't like specify how does the, you know, Moonlit Veil work exactly? Each hit triggers Moonlit Veil 1 time for the ally with the lowest HP percentage. So this can trigger some bursts like healing and turn meter push for multiple allies. The thing is, it did say that Moonlit Veil can only trigger once per turn. So this cannot actually trigger the Moonlit Veil multiple times on the same ally. It has to trigger on different allies. So if you're triggering it with this thing, does that mean that the Moonlit Veil getting triggered if the enemy attacks you will not be happening anymore because you just triggered the Moonlit Veil, because you can only do it once per turn? And also they're not going to trigger the Moonlit Veil at the end of their turn because it happened from this skill already. So yeah, if that's the way it works, it's not so hot. Okay. And also the skill ups here, chance to trigger a Moonlit Veil increased to 70% when you put 1 perfect lattice into her skill 2. So that means you can see a jump from 70 to 85 and 85 to 100. So it could be that it's like a 55% chance without any perfect lattice, or it could be like 50%, or who knows, maybe less before any perfect lattice is invested into this skill 2. And this is, I believe, I have to go back. This, actually I have to move my mouse. 3 turn cooldown after skill up on this thing. So it's fairly short, but you need to invest a lot of perfect lattices. Okay, here, look at the healing happening, right? It's triggering the Moonlit Veil on different allies. You're gonna see, right? You look at it here. 3 different allies, right? They all, Doki Doki, Mio, and Heinrich, they all got the Moonlit Veil to trigger, and their turn meter push happened as well. You can see it happening here. Boom. They all push their turn meter. They all get healed, right? Okay. And here, looks like it happened to herself because everyone's at max HP unless we can't see it because the barrier is blocking it. Now, you can see that the healing on her makes sense, right? This is having over 60,000 health. The healing is 8% of who's triggering it. So you add the healing increase, the 37% healing increase as well on top of that 8% max HP heal. Yeah, it makes sense, right? And Fortissimo could be triggering at this point and storing healing and storing excess healing. So yeah, that's it. It's storing 35% of the healing as well and the excess. So yeah, that's that works. But like, I don't think she should be built with boosting of healing received unless it's actually boosting the healing on the other allies, but it wouldn't make sense like for it to work like that. I think like having her with some speed, you know, getting that skill 3, that ultimate to go ASAP would be nice. And also having her on Bramble, because those skill 1, you know, counter attacks could be really nice with the turn meter push for 2 allies by up to, you know, 10%, right? So her skill 3, her ultimate, finally, we are here. Moonlit Tides. As water flows, the moon cycles through its phases. Fuqiu applies a 2-turn shield equal to 24% of her max HP to all allies. Applies 2-turn Moonlit Veil to herself and applies 2-turn speed to other allies. So she's not getting the speed buff for herself, but the rest of the team is, right? And the Moonlit Veil, that's like a buff that they call Serenity when it's on her. And the Moonlit Veil is like the trigger, like happening out of the Serenity. It's confusing. So she kind of works like a Valerian. Like you get it going, and then, yeah, and then basically when they get damage after being attacked or at the end of their turn, they're getting this thing to trigger, but it says triggered only 1 time per turn. So it doesn't work too well with her skill 2. It's quite strange the way she works. You know, 24% of her max HP in a barrier. It looks thick because she's paired with a bunch of like low HP allies, right? Okay, speed buff. Like you definitely want a high base speed and build speed on an animus that will put speed on the rest of your team, especially if you don't have like a Lily, right? Then you're gonna get a lot of value out of that speed buff, right? And getting the shield up on your team, of course, especially if you have squishy animuses, especially if you're like defense scaling. So that means like you might not have that much health, but that barrier is going to have a lot of value because you're going to mitigate a lot of damage with having high amount of defense, especially if you put defense buff on your team. So yeah, I mean, I think that she would work well with a team that's very like healthy, with a lot of health, some bruisers that stack HP to deal more damage, right? Like Tiamat. Yeah, I think that could work pretty well because the Moonlit Veil is healing based on the allies' maximum HP. So it could definitely add up over time, but that thing of only trigger 1 time per turn, I think like that's not gonna be too good if that's the way it really works, because like it's hard to tell with these preview, and they're cutting parts, putting like they're just showing like a few seconds here and there in different battles. So I think the way I'm saying, the way it works, that's actually how she's gonna work. But yeah, doesn't look so great. Look at it, the shield. It looks thick when she puts it up. Okay, you can see like that looks thick, right? Because it's 28% of her max HP. But look at on herself. Of course, it's just gonna be 28% of her max HP. But on the rest of the team, it's a pretty thick shield because they don't have as much health as hers, over 60,000 HP, right? And also the skill ups, right? The skill ups on this thing, so I'm assuming that it's a 20% of her max HP shield to all allies because, you know, Mia, it's kind of like that. Her healing on skill number 3 is like 20% of her max HP, and then the next one is like 22, then 24, 26, right, with skill ups. And then increase the effect of turn meter to 12%. Right. Oh, yes. So that turn meter on Moonlit Veil, you actually need to skill up her skill number 3 twice to actually get 12%. What is it before 12%? Is it 10? Is it 8? Is it 9? That's the thing, right? Like, that's 2 perfect lattices right there, and you're building on that skill 3, which means like you're gonna probably like stack some HP on her. Hopefully her base HP is actually higher than they're showing, 10 more speed than that. And you also need perfect lattices in skill 1 if you want her to zoom, to be quick, right, to get that 15 speed in there. So yeah, and also the healing effect increases to 8% of here it is. The healing effect increases to 8% of target's maximum HP. So it is based on the ally's maximum HP. It's showing it on the final skill up on this thing. But what is it before 8%, right? I would really like to see these values in these, you know, previews. When she shows up on the 10th, you can just open her character. But actually, in the game, they still show the animus with full skill ups, don't they? Right? So anyways, Oh, it's rough. It's rough. So what is it going to be? 5% of target's maximum HP before 8%? That's really that's rough if that's the case, right? Like hopefully it's like 6% at least, because that's 4 skill ups, guys. Like that's a lot, right? Anyways, and also you need to get her to go ASAP, because you need her to put the Moonlit Veil. That thing is not happening like Valerian. Valerian is just like, she just gets it with the skill ups. If this skill, the final skill up could be like she applies the Moonlit Veil, the Serenity, whatever on herself, and then you reapply it again when you use skill 3, that'd be big. But that's not the case. You know, she's hollow, guys. She's not, you know, light or dark. That's the thing, right? So keep that in mind. So Fuqiu, to me, she seems pretty underwhelming, right? Like the way the Moonlit Veil works, right? Triggering only once per turn. It's not, the healing is not based on her maximum HP, it's based on the allies' maximum HP. So you need to have her with a team that is basically stacking HP to get the most value out of that thing. You want a tanky team, right? You want her on like Swift Rush, Bramble, potentially get some counters to cycle the team more often. I don't like her. I don't like it, because like she needs a lot of skill up. We don't have perfect lattices, right? Like it's limited how much we get, very limited. So yeah, let's check the next animus. Yeah, so he looks cool. I much prefer this animus, to be honest, between the two. So Nahor, so this is odd, you know, SSR. So he has 122 base speed here. I think they're both missing that 10 speed. So he could potentially be 132 base speed. It's still not crazy. Like Klaus has 143 base speed. You know, when you get those skill up into the skill 1 to get that 15 other speed. It's he's fully skilled up here. So yeah, based on his kit, he needs to be fast. He needs to be very fast. And there's issues with this animus as well. I might not be pulling for any of them, to be honest. There's some issues with him, right? Like he needs perfect lattices invested into him, but it's not as bad as Fuqiu. It's definitely not as bad, I believe, on him. You know, because you can stack effect accuracy, so you can increase your chance to trigger stuff. Right, so let's go over his skill. They've built him with Swift Rush, Time Weave, right? The Time Weave is not complete, but they have Swift Rush plus Swift Smite, so they can get 50% speed increase, some effect accuracy from Time Weave and Swift Smite. And to be honest, like he's not even built with that much effect accuracy, right? His speed, I mean, yeah, together, like, anyways, that's just a test build, but he's rocking very close to 40,000 HP. So yeah, let's see him in action and what his skills do. But I really like his character design. He's awesome, especially when you're about to cast the ultimate, the skill 3. Okay, the skill 1. So this one, Justice, right? Judgment is but the duty to be fulfilled. Nahor deals 240% damage to a single enemy with a 40% chance to inflict a 2-turn defense down. Now, defense down is extremely powerful, and this is a turn 1, and 40% chance for a 2-turn defense down. That's great. Like, that's 80% chance to inflict 2-turn defense down by having like 100% effect accuracy on top of who you're fighting, how much ever they have in effect resistance. So 40% into 80% with effect accuracy, that's pretty sweet. And the defense down is for 2 turns, but you need the skill ups, guys. That's 4 skill ups right there. At least you're gonna get on the way 15 speed from those skill ups, right? And you're also going to be increasing the chance of defense down to 40%. What is it before 40%? Maybe it's 30%. Hopefully it is 30 and not something like 20 or 25%, right? Damage multiplier increase, don't really care about that. But yeah, the 4th skill up is big because defense down for 2 turns instead of 1. That's actually pretty huge. Okay, the skill 2. discipline. No disorder in the court. Nahor deals 280% damage to a single enemy with a 70% chance to dispel all buffs from them and to inflict a 2-turn block. Okay, so that's very strong, but once again, a 3-turn cooldown, that's also very nice. But the skill ups, boys, oh my god, it's bad. The skill ups are rough. So the first one is damage, who cares? The second one, dispelling effect has been changed to remove all buffs. So it's not all buffs without skill ups. So we need to actually invest 2 perfect lattice to get that into his skill 2. So it might be only remove 2 buffs and not all buffs. And this is not an AoE, it doesn't hit everyone, it just hits a single enemy. It's a skill 2 though, right? So yeah, it's nice. It's actually very nice. 3-turn, like after all the perfect lattice into this thing, very solid. 3-turn cooldown. You know, you're basically getting over 100% chance to dispel all buffs. You're gonna be able to easily remove all buffs with the skill ups on this thing without having to stack that much effect accuracy, because it's already 70% with the skill ups. But you need 3 skill ups to bring it to 70%, right? And yeah, it acts for the strip and also the application of block with the 3rd skill up, but then you need a 4th one for that -1 turn cooldown. Okay, it's nice, but I got a problem with that skill 2 though. Very strong, especially like PvE encounters where they have a lot of buffs. You just pop that thing, very solid, very strong, and the block of buffs application on them is also very strong. Like you could use that thing in Inferno, remove the immunity, put block to block the future ones. Like that's very, very powerful, right? But there's a pretty big issue. Okay, now they went real quick through that skill number 3, his ultimate. Okay, verdict. When the gavel falls, all shall return to balance. Nahor deals 300% damage to all enemies with a 70% chance to inflict 2-turn defense down and a 50% chance to inflict a 1-turn freeze. That is strong. That is very strong, because with effect accuracy you can basically get, I mean, with the skill ups, right, with 3 skill ups into that ultimate skill 3, that's basically 100% chance to freeze. There is that 10% chance to not get your stuff to land. You know, if you know Epic 7, 15% innate resist. In this game, there's a 10% chance. Even if you have a 100% chance to land, 10% chance it can happen that you will not land your stuff, right? So the skill ups, yeah, the chance to actually have the defense down to 70%. What is it before 70%? Hopefully it's not 50, it's more like around 60%. And also the freeze, what is the value of the freeze? Could be like a 35% or 30% chance to freeze if you don't have skill ups into this thing. So yeah, you're gonna need to, you know, work on that skill 2, that skill 3, that skill 1, because that speed is in skill 1, and you want that 2-turn defense down later down the line on that skill 1's pretty sweet. But the thing is, yeah, this is a 4-turn cooldown, but after the skill ups. And the big problem that I have with this character, of course, he's not light or dark, disorder or constant, so he's not gonna be OP. You don't have an AoE strip into a defense down and freeze, that's broken. But the thing is, his strip is on skill 2. So what do you think the AI is gonna do when you have him on autoplay? He's gonna use the skill 3, the ultimate, and they will have immunity. So you're not putting defense down and you're not putting freeze on the ads. Let's say, like, yes, you can use him very strong in Doki Doki. He's odd. You're able to basically, not fully, but you kind of like, it's like a Claws plus a Kraken, right? Not the same power, of course, but like he's putting defense down on everyone, and also he's freezing. That's very strong into one animuses kit. But when you have the AI running, let's say you want to use him in Aurora Inferno, then like he's gonna use skill 3 before skill 2, right? If you're manual, yes, you can skill 2 and press autoplay. Maybe that could be a way to do it. So you're gonna be able to remove the immunity and you know, put the block and then use the skill number 3. So yeah, there's a lot of definitely great uses out of him in PvE and in PvP as well. But yeah, he's no class in terms of base speed, right? And he doesn't have the hack-in, debuff, which, increase your damage dealt to them on top of the defense down and reduce the damage that they can deal to your team. So yeah, he doesn't have speed down like class. They're different. They're different animuses, that's for sure. But his skill 3 definitely packs a punch. It's just that the AI is gonna butcher that. It's gonna be bad, right? It's not gonna be as good as you want it to be, of course. So yeah, that's another one. I got issues with him. I really like his skill 3. Like, before he casts it, it looks awesome. Right here. That's really nice. I like it. Like, he's holding the balances like that, like that holy light. It looks great, right? But yeah, that's gonna be about like that AI, right, for PvE content. Of course, like that would be very strong. Like, that's why his base speed is not gonna be that high. I mean, like, defense, the whole enemy team with defense down and frozen. That's pretty nuts, right? That's pretty nuts. So yeah, that's what I think about these new animuses. Let us know what you guys think about these two. They need heavy investment. That is rough. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna be pulling for them, to be honest. That's the thing. I much prefer to go for permanent summons. The permanent banner, for me, it's much better because as a free-to-play player, I get chances to get light or dark animuses. That's way better for me. So yeah, let us know what you guys think about all that in the comment section. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.